For generations, the worst among us have contrived to tear our political and social fabric apart to the benefit of the few over the many. Their intent and mission have been diabolically simple: divide and conquer, and they have been wildly successful. Hi, I'm Michael James Ott, veteran, retired engineer and businessman, and now ambassador and facilitator for the solution to this madness: Citizen Statesmanship. The vast majority of people from all corners of the globe are just like you and me. Extraordinary, so-called ordinary people. Join us in our quest to recreate the political landscape, eliminating the tribal hostilities and warfare incited for centuries by the label and blame mantra of our traditional leaders. Now is the time to end the atrocities of god-awful leadership, launching a final and lasting divorce from tyranny. All driven by everyday citizens, driven by you and me. It is the Pro and Con Show, brought to you today and every day by Citizen Statesmanship, the cure for what ails us. Hello out there around the globe. Welcome to the Pro and Con Show. I'm Michael James Ott.
And I'm Ben McLaughlin, and we're your co-hosts for today's show.
We are indeed, and we are going to go right into our topic, I think.
Okay.
Which is the internet pros and cons. So this show is called the Pro and Con Show, and periodically during the show, it's called the Pro and Con Show for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because just about everything, as far as I know, there's really everything has a pro and a con.
Exactly.
Think about eating an ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Well, the pro is it's satisfying, tasty, can really give you almost like a feeling of euphoria. You can actually get like a temporary sugar high.
Especially on a hot day.
Yes, and it can taste, cool you down, and it can be like this awesome experience for whatever, 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it lasts.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the con is there's tons of calories and sugar, and all these things are bad for your body in general.
Absolutely.
but having said that, I remember it was a long time ago, and they were talking. I think it was the woman that was the oldest woman in the world at the time.
Okay.
And they asked her, do you have any regrets about your life? They asked her because she'd been around, so they talked to her about like World War I and World War II and the Great Depression and all kinds of things that they talked to her about. And then they said, well, do you have any regrets? And she thought about it. She goes, no. And then she goes, oh, well, maybe. I should have had more. And now that I think about it, I should have eaten more ice cream. And I just love that thing. So even though there's definitely some cons of eating ice cream, and I don't eat it all that much, for sure, periodically, especially if I'm walking past the shop and it looks like they have really good ice cream,
you gotta stop.
I stop. I definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
I have, special ice cream every once in a while because, hey, that's part of life, right?
You gotta enjoy it.
Gotta enjoy it. So, Ben, let's talk about the internet. This is the Pro and Con Show. So, and we're going to talk about the internet and how it relates to the function of our politics and society in general. Mm-hmm. And so, in a lot of the shows, people wonder, like we did a show about money. Well, how is that related to politics or, social? Well, it was, and we talked at length about
Exactly.
And the same thing is true with how the internet is related to what's happening in our politics and in our society. Good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then also what's, citizen statesmanship and the elections and all this other stuff, and how all this is being impacted by this thing called the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put you on the spot, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to say off the top of your head, what is one of the things that you think helps you the most about the internet?
Being able to find information quickly. Right? Google is my best friend. I will Google something in a heartbeat. It can be tacos near me, tire shops, car parts, motorcycle shops. Like Google, I use Google like a lot throughout the day. Like just to Google something, well, just off the top of my head, because and I have ADHD, so I might randomly just get hyper fixated on something and just be like, let me go to Google and look that up real quick. So Google is definitely my friend. I mean, it has everything. And it's tied to YouTube as well. So if you need a tutorial, you can go right to Google. It'll find you a video. So I say Google.
I have to say I wholeheartly agree with you on the perspective, and I think the vast majority of people would say it. Mm-hmm. That having the information, and because of the fabulous smartphones that we have these days, it's
many
like
supercomputers.
It's right there in your purse or pocket.
Yes.
And you walk around. Of course, there's where we live. This is a normal thing. There are billions of people around the world that don't have that.
This is true.
And this is something that one of our colleagues, Mindy, reminds me periodically. It's like, I'm talking about, it's like, well, wait a second, not everybody has that. And I'm like, you're right, actually. Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. We talk about all kinds of things that some of the things have improved over time, and they have, and on the whole, on average, things have improved, until here recently. They're starting to go the opposite way, but mm-hmm. But there are still enclaves of people that really suffer in a way that the vast majority of us would struggle and not even appreciating or understanding. Mm-hmm. But the internet, so it's fantastic.
It really is.
I have had this philosophical thought in my head. It's like, how badly do I like the internet? Like if I were to say, Ben, because it does, right? So if you had to give something up, in order to keep the internet, in other words, some evil NARSOLES person came into your life and said, well, you can keep the internet, or you have to get rid of your car, or you have to get rid of...
Bye-bye car. Bye-bye car. The motorcycle will be a harder sell. But then again, there's rainy days, and on rainy days, I can watch videos of other people riding motorcycles, and I have a Meta Quest headset, so I can watch it POV, and it'll pretend like I'm riding a motorcycle. So bye-bye motorcycle. So yeah, there's a lot of things I give up to keep the internet.
There's a lot of things, and I'm like, man, I don't want to get too, because I don't know, you want to understand yourself. So mm-hmm. every once in a while, I'm like contemplating me, like and I had this book. Somebody gave it to me, but it was a little book. It was intended to be like a tabletop book or a conversation starter. It was called The Book of Questions. And the Book of Questions was, interesting questions. Like one of them was, would you pull the wings off a butterfly? Wow. And then yes or no. Mm-hmm. And then, well, what if someone gave you $10,000 to pull the wings off a butterfly?
Wow, that is a cruel choice to make.
Or what if someone gave you $1 million or $1 billion? The whole point being,
At what point
would you?
Man.
And I so
wow. Poor butterfly.
And so the internet, I had to, start thinking, kind of down these lines. Just what would I sacrifice for the internet?
I personally sacrifice a lot.
It would be a lot. You mean like when I sacrifice like having a comfortable bed to sleep in?
Because I can get comfortable anywhere. Can I still get a bunch of fluffy blankets? Because I can make it work.
I mean, and it's like, wow, how, and I hate to even, because, okay, the internet exists and there's a boatload of advertising on it, which is basically why it's more or less free.
Mm-hmm.
And also why there's an aspect of it that's really irritating.
Yes.
Because you look at stuff and there's so much advertising and they're so bent on you looking at it that you get these like pop-up windows that are, and there's videos, and then they purposely make it like confusing now. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to read a story about something. You're trying to look at this information, and they have all kinds of things like popping up and flashing and stuff
that you gotta watch and then skip through.
Yeah, and
the article comes up.
Yeah, you're trying to do all this stuff. It's like, stop this.
Scroll down, another little ad goes full screen.
and depending on how horrible they are, sometimes it's like you can't get away from it. Mm-hmm. Like you try to look at this information and there's a pop-up ad and you have to watch it. Otherwise, you can't. And so you can try reloading it or whatever, and it just happens over, and it's like, oh, this is really irritating.
Yes.
But on the whole, even so, even given how bad it's gotten in that regard, wow. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the communication thing, and Ben, he works in automotive manufacturing, and he knows all kinds of things about cars. But I know some stuff about cars, but not everything. And now I've got some cars that are getting a little bit long in the tooth. and that's an old thing. Did you recognize that? Mm-hmm. Long in the tooth? Okay. Because I was like, oh, he probably doesn't recognize it. Yeah, I do. A little bit long in the tooth. But anyway, so now it's like, well, I got a problem with my car. And Google it, YouTube, and watch the video. Oh, and not only that, but watch 3 videos. Mm-hmm. This guy did it this way.
With summaries.
Yes.
So you can know that you're watching the right video. Hey, summarize this. Oh, this guy's going to change out this part. And he does it pretty simply. Oh, cool. I'll watch that one.
And then the next thing on the list, I guess, would be the communication. Mm-hmm. So the information, I agree. For me, it feels like the information is like the main thing. Mm-hmm. But then right behind it is communication.
Exactly.
You can send somebody a text. You can call anybody in the world. You can send them a text. You can video.
Well, I mean, things like...
Well, not everybody. Again, there's a couple billion people that don't have the technologies, but the vast majority of people. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to somebody in China.
Yeah. Or I mean, like I said before, like Snapchat. Whenever I see world events happening, I always go to the Snap map and go right over to that part of the world and look at what's going on from their perspective. And then I compare and contrast it to the news. Like, for instance, the operation that went on in Mexico when they were saying, oh, they were rioting and all this stuff like that, and the news was showing cars burning. I can tell you from what I saw, it was 3 cars that were on fire. And those were the same 3 cars in every single news article. Yes. And in the same city, I am seeing videos of people walking down the street saying, oh man, no one's here. Like, but the news is telling us people are being killed in the streets. No, I mean, granted, there were some bad things that happened, but the news really, really inflated what was going on, like severely.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's literally, I'm seeing videos from earlier that day of people still driving down the street while these cars were fully involved, and they're just recording it like, wow, look at these cars on fire, driving right by it. Or, like TikTok. It's so cool, on a Friday night, you're in the house not doing much, and you just scroll through TikTok, and then you come into the live section, and you see people all over the world just doing fun stuff. Like, it's cool. Like, the internet really does bring us together. And
Well, it can.
well, yeah, it can. It
that's
brings
what-
us together and it divides us. So
Yeah.
it does too, pros and cons.
Yeah.
But I mean, in ways like that, if used and applied properly, it can bring us together and give you a glimpse and a bit of education about the world around you, about the world outside of your norm. And you can understand things from, you know, a different perspective versus having someone give you their perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, we see a lot of that now. We see a lot of, you know, some people who are afraid of using technology and stuff like that. They're relying on people to give them their perspective, and then they take that as gospel. And they become evangelical about it. Oh, well, I've known people who've never gotten on TikTok, don't even know what it is, tell me that it's a bad thing because of something that they heard. And I'm like, you don't know how TikTok works. Like, I had a guy at work, he was like, oh, well, when I was on TikTok, it was showing a bunch of little girls dancing. And I'm like, well, my TikTok is showing cars, motorcycles, and DJ stuff. And I mean, that's what I'm into. You sure about that?
Well, so be careful there. The algorithms.
Yes. And I was like,
So maybe.
and that's what I was saying. I'm like, I know what I'm watching, but you, sir. Okay. I don't know.
Well, but this is you know, and we're still talking about some of the benefits of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
but we're kind of on the edge of talking about some of the negative things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the algorithms of the internet, they're bent on making money.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, maybe there's also a secondary, maybe some of these billionaires that have an agenda, but first and foremost, they're there to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're there to keep your attention, and the algorithms send you whatever they think, whatever the algorithms think. And these algorithms have been, you know, redone and refined, and you know, and they are wildly effective.
Yes.
At keeping your attention.
I have to say, TikToks, from my time on their algorithm before the sale specifically, theirs was the best I'd ever seen. And I honestly think that was the problem. I've gotten on TikTok, and if you get on a video and you swipe too fast, you'll never see it again. And I mean, it's slowly, you never realize it, but it slowly builds to things that are your interest. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. Even if it was, you know, like hateful viewpoints or something that didn't align with what you liked or what you believed in, you wouldn't see it. And I mean, you get on some of the other social services, I mean, they throw it in your face because they want you to engage with it. Specifically thinking about Twitter or X, when Elon Musk bought it. It was Elon Musk and Donald Trump all up and down it, no matter what you thought, what you liked, all of this. And if you like something that was on a different political spectrum, they made sure to put something that directly opposed what you thought because they wanted you to interact with it. And I can say TikTok, a lot of their stuff was, I mean, it was pretty spot on. I mean, like I would see stuff that would be like people's perspective on the ground, similar to like what I look at with the Snap Map. When there's something going on, it's a world event, and you see a perspective from people that are right there. Disasters, people that are right there. I mean, I remember during the Hurricane Helen, I mean, I was watching TikTok lives, I mean, all weekend, like, because like throughout the storm and the aftermath, and I mean, it was eye-opening to see it from the perspective of people that were there. You're seeing the news recording, oh, this area, that area, but people in rural areas, or even the videos that were made to show like time lapses through like when the storm started to, you know, how quickly the floods and stuff came in. I mean, that was honestly more eye-opening to me than seeing the newscast. The news can show you the aftermath. These videos, these were people that were there. And I mean, it was just regular life. You know, they didn't know it was going to be a disaster or as bad as it was. They're just, hey, we're riding out the hurricane, and then it's, hey, there's a stream, you know, it's starting to flood. And then you start seeing landslides, and then you start seeing like actual like serious life or death situations unfold, and it really humanized that whole experience. Now you're no longer a headline. It's like you understand the gravity of this a lot more now. And I mean, even now, like to ride by and see like some of this storm damage and stuff, it's like, wow, you don't see that on the news, not on that scale. So it definitely does a lot of good in that regard. I mean, I think that's a benefit, definitely, of the internet, just being able to see the reality of things.
Yeah, and I work with fiber optic technology, which is the physical backbone for the internet. It allows, because of the light technology, it allows the internet to be transmitted all around the world. It allows you to talk. It's essentially real time because it's just the speed of light. You know, the light is going around the globe, and you can literally talk to someone in China, and the delay in that conversation is teeny tiny fractions of a second. It's basically live. and I remember thinking when I got involved with that technology, it was pretty new, nascent kind of thing. There was only a few hundred people in the world that had even heard those terms, and fiber optics, and that it was, in my view, and I was kind of a disciple for that. I think at one time, actually, I would say that was true. I was a disciple for optical fiber and the internet. But for optical fiber, because it was this enabling thing, and in my head, I saw just great things, like the video calls that were free, and because, and again, look it up if you don't remember, but it was only 30 years ago or something, and like doing a video call like we do with our smartphones, that would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in specialized equipment to get,
just to be connected.
And have that capability would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. And now, get out the phone, somebody over there, WhatsApp, whatever.
FaceTime for no reason.
FaceTime, no problem, and my brother, he and I were exchanging phone calls. We kept missing each other, and he finally got hold of me, and he started, and I said, "Well, it's your dime," and we laughed a little bit about it because it's free, right? It's these phone calls and video things are free anymore. Okay, supported by ads and all this other stuff,
but still free.
But still, I mean, basically,
no out-of-pocket expense anyway.
Yeah, pretty free. And so, wow, that was the great thing, and a lot of that came to fruition. And like you're saying, because the phones have cameras now, so now we see and can see reality for people, and really, and that is very impactful, because humans, again, we're humans, and humans sometimes have to see things before they believe them. And then so other benefits, there's like different ways of making money these days. Like some people are influencers; they make money by making content which we're not, by the way. We're not we're not making money or anything. I don't care. I mean, that's someday. I hope 8 billion people watch or listen to this podcast. I hope, but if they do, whatever money, if we were to get any money, it's going to go back to the people. We're not, we're doing this for you. But okay, there's other people, and I routinely, you probably do too. There's people on YouTube or something, and you watch their stuff because, and so yeah, they have. I mean, Mr. Beast, I think, is the famous guy on YouTube.
Yes.
And he has millions and millions of subscribers, and he makes a lot of money.
A lot.
By doing. And and the reason why I started following or watching him was he was doing these positive things for people. Like he was going to 200 villages in Africa and getting them where they had drinking water. And so he was spending millions and millions of dollars and had construction teams going around drilling wells and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But then he also does a bunch of frivolous stuff that I personally I couldn't care the least about. You know, it's just typical dumb stuff that I think is on the internet. You know, well, how long will this people or this person, you know, cling to this flagpole that's 150 feet in the air, and you know, because they'll win a $500,000 if they can stay up there for whatever days or something. And then they start throwing, you know, water balloons at him one day, and you know, all that stuff. And so then the convenience of it, like ordering things. I don't know too many people that don't order things.
Oh man, Amazon is so great.
And it's a sad thing. I mean, again, pros and cons. Amazon, there's tons and tons and tons of cardboard that, you know,
and I mean,
there's definitely some negatives, but as far as the convenience
and the waste, because I mean, they are so big that, you know, they don't even process returns. Like, you return something, they just put a check in your account. Like, that's it. It's like, oh yeah, we make so much money, we don't care, return it. It could be a box full of rocks, we don't care. Send it back. But once you go over a certain number of returns, now we're going to flag your account for fraud. But send it, we don't care. We can take a loss. That's mind-boggling the way that they do that. And then they sell their returns to places like, you know, like the warehouse in Spartanburg. And they auction it back off as Amazon returns. So people go and buy stuff that's been returned to Amazon. And like, it's just amazing how they create a market like that. But Amazon, I probably get packages just about every day of something. It's just so convenient. And especially I work nights, so don't have a lot of time to go to the store. And then my fiance, she's steadily ordering stuff. So it's always something at the door. I mean, even the dog food is on a subscription from Amazon.
Yeah, I personally, you know, I live alone, and I probably get 2 packages a week. Because it's just stuff comes up. It's like, well, I need more of this, and you know, and then I have a history of where I've purchased this stuff, and sometimes I check, sometimes I don't. It's just like, oh, it was a good price before. Here we go.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Buy it again and not worry about it.
Don't have to go all the way to the store for this one thing.
Right, exactly. And then another big thing as far as positive is there's all kinds of. I mean, we talked about YouTube. But there's actually many, many educational opportunities there. There's the TED thing, which is, you know, ideas worth sharing. And so there's all these like 15, 20-minute videos about people sharing all kinds of really interesting things about all kinds of stuff. Music and science and, you know, on and on and on. And then, of course, you can take online classes, and it can be a very positive. Like, you know, these days, the schools, and again, not all the schools have this capability, but a lot of them do. You can learn remotely.
They can do e-learning.
They can do e-learning. So there's you know, something's happening. There's a bad storm or something, or the actual school, something happens to it, a tornado hits it or something, and the children can actually keep going to school. Yeah, because of the capability of
the internet.
Of the internet. So all of these things are positives, but then there's the negatives, which we were kind of getting on the side. So there's the misinformation stuff. Which is getting worse and worse.
It absolutely is.
With and again, pros and cons. Artificial intelligence, it can be amazingly helpful, but it can also be amazingly helpful in making stuff that is intended to deceive and mislead. And it's equally good at both.
Yes, it is.
And again, so, you know, this is kind of, now we're coming into why we talk about this with citizen statesmanship and the social and political fabric of our world. Yeah, so there's the misinformation stuff. It can, and depending on, it can be so bad depending on how bad the leaders are.
Exactly.
Some of the leaders don't even take the time to try to figure out whether something's real or not.
No.
They just grab it. If it meets their agenda, they grab it and here we go. And again, folks, I smile a little bit, but it's not funny. When some of the NARSOLES, some of the grand NARSOLES that are running our countries, running our governments, when they make some of these bad decisions, people die.
Yes.
And it's, some of those people are you and me.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, just look at what's going on in the world right now. We sit here and we talk about the numbers of missiles and mines and things. Those are lives. It's not empty buildings. It's not empty cars. Those are lives. There are people that are dealing with that. The higher it goes up the chain, the more it becomes targets and units and objectives and all words to remove the human aspect and make it easier to just make these kind of decisions. And when you bring in misinformation and fake news, I mean, we saw that a couple weeks ago, the impact of misinformation or a mistake or however it came about. Like, we really saw, like, this is not a game. This isn't a joke. And I mean, now when it comes to public opinion on things, I mean, we're vulnerable, absolutely vulnerable in times like this. Both nations, well, all three nations, we're vulnerable to AI attacks.
All three nations, what do you?
That are in the operation, the U.S., Israel, and Iran.
Oh, okay. So
we're all
you're
vulnerable.
talking about the conflict,
yeah,
war conflict in Iran.
But we're all vulnerable to an AI attack. I mean, fake videos, fake informations about movements or actions can really have real world implications. I mean, who's to say that our president doesn't get a fake AI video of a nuclear missile being launched and it's on the way, and then they go into retaliatory mode or whatever? Like, who's to say? I mean, I know that we have systems and things in place, but I mean, I could say personally, I don't completely understand how that works. I don't understand why we're doing what we're doing now. But these are things to be concerned about when you bring in artificial intelligence. I mean, we as people, we have to really pay attention to how we're implementing these things and who is in control. Because I mean, also as you bring in misinformation and fake news, as you implement that into artificial intelligence, it's basically the consciousness of the internet. So you're trusting it to have discernment between what is real and what is fake. That's a big ask. You're asking it to create the fake news, the fake videos, but also be able to keep up with which one's real, which one's fake, based on the objective that you're trying to get it to complete for you. That's something to be really concerned about. And I mean, you know, another detriment, we have privacy and data exploitation. I mean, remember when we see those commercials about identity theft? And it was such a big thing, and it was, oh, protect your social security number. Now our identities get stolen 15 times a day. I mean, you go to your junk drawer and it's, hey, your information was found in a data leak, or, you know, you get emails every day, hey, Target was hacked and your credit card information was in there. It's like, it's a regular thing now. Like, I just find that funny. But that's definitely a detriment of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, we have to worry about that. Addiction and overuse. Definitely, the internet can be addictive.
Yeah, there are people, again, we're humans, right? And there's a distribution of us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there are people, just like video gaming, there are people that it's an addiction.
Yeah.
It's, they get so immersed in it that they struggle with perceiving the difference between what they're doing and reality, which what most of us would consider reality.
And it's definitely at an all-time high now because I'm a bit of a gamer myself. I don't game a lot like I used to, but I still dibble and dabble here and there. But like one game, Grand Theft Auto, it's pretty much like a simulator for life in a way. You play as this character. You got this whole city that's modeled after Los Angeles. There's cars, there's trucks, there's planes. The storyline is basically something like right out of an action movie or something. Kind of like Scarface mixed with Fast and the Furious, if I had to describe it.
Okay.
So that's your storyline, but there's an online mode to where you can play, and it's an open world city with other real players. There's an actual economy. You can buy cars, you can buy houses, you can buy a boat, you can buy an airplane. You can do missions and have a criminal empire. You can have now they have like jobs and stuff where you can go straight. Well, people have rented servers. Like they saw the market for it. They allow people to now rent online servers, and you can set your server up however you want to be. So now, outside of the normal game, people have modified it. They can put real world cars in this game. You have people on there that are pretending to be like police officers. They're pulling people over and writing tickets. EMTs. It's like a full on role play online, and it is at an all time high now.
What's the name of it?
It's Grand Theft Auto.
Oh,
but they play it. But it's Grand Theft Auto online, and then they call it RP server, so role player servers, and that's like really the biggest thing now is just people going on there, and it's a substitute for real life. And I get the draw to it because I like simulator games and things like that, but I do see the issue now with people that will put a lot of time into that. Like, you think about a video game, you play for hours and hours, you're playing a storyline. It's kind of like watching a movie or reading a book. You're following a storyline. It's fun, it's action, but it's something different about, going into a video game and you're pretending to do something normal. And it's like, it becomes an escape at that point. Then it becomes like a substitute for actually living life, like a coping mechanism. And my belief, things like that lead to addiction and, people detaching from reality and becoming reclusive. And I think that is kind of a real problem that we're going to probably start to see coming out in these next few generations, to be honest with you, because it's becoming normalized. Like, I watched something like, that game came out when I was in high school. So that game's been out now, man, is it about 20 years? Yeah, that game's been out about 20 years now. Or a little bit less, almost 20 years. But,
okay,
it's been out and people have been playing that game and it grew into this. Like, I watched it progress from just being a really good game that people play and go back to now it's a thing that people like, this is their thing. It's like a second life, pretty much. It's interesting.
Yeah, and how that particular thing is applicable to our social and political environment is, again, the NARSOLES, they want to distract. Okay? And they do this in different ways. One of them is to get us fighting. So the labels, liberal versus conservative, red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat. And then they're evil, you got to fight them or whatever. But the other thing that's just as effective for them is to just get people distracted in any way, shape, or form. It goes back to my, analogy about the pickpocket in the sports bar. And getting, a Clemson fan and a Gamecocks fan arguing so that they're distracted, so you can go in there and get their wallet or purse, take some money out, and put it back in there because you don't want to get caught. Well, the worst people among us, they're like, well, it's perfectly fine if they're absolutely distracted this way. I can reach in and I can get, I can get the money. I can steal their life away.
Exactly.
And just to go a little bit further, that used to be mostly, again, just about money, right? Again, the game gets money from you being, involved in it.
And that's why that game has been out for as long as it has, is because they have milked it for, every dime. Like, so when it first came out, it wasn't even an online game. It was a single player. So you get it, you don't even play online. Your game is different from my game. The day that it went online, it crashed because so many people tried to log in that they weren't prepared for it. And it took that game about a month before you could actually get on it and play it, unless you were one of the lucky ones. Like, you would have to get on like super early in the morning or super late at night just to be able to play for a little while, and then you get kicked off. And then they implemented, like, they just completely ignored the offline aspect. Now, mind you, that was the original game.
Mm-hmm.
They completely ignored the offline aspect. It hasn't changed since day one. Everything has been about online, and online has turned into just the public servers, just a bunch of people. It's pay to win. And you might have, you have in-game money that you have to purchase things.
So you use real money to purchase in-game money.
Yes, so you can either play the missions that they have laid out for you that would pay money, but you're going to get like $100 here, $500 there, or you can pay $30 to get $1 million in game. But the economy is so one-sided. You want an apartment that's going to cost you $5 million. And you want this motorcycle that's really, really nice and fast. It's going to cost you $10 million. And the prices are insane, but they make so much money. And all that they do is just keep releasing like a new car.
Sure.
Or re-releasing something else.
Sure.
And every year, like, they made so much money off of that game. It's mind-boggling. Or they'll come through and say, hey, we're adding a new game mode. And of course, it costs money.
And so before we drop that particular subject, there's capitalism, right? And so people trying to make money, and by providing entertainment, okay, we've done that for years, right? And Major League Baseball, there's tons, right? But the other thing that somehow came onto my radar not too many months ago was EA Sports got purchased by a billionaire with strong leanings toward a more conservative Republican kind of side. And I'm sitting there going, why? Because EA Sports, they make money, but it's not Apple Computer. It's, hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that is their revenue. And so this guy spent a lot of money. It's like $4 billion or something. And I'm like, why? Well, guess what? You can absolutely bet that those simulations are going to get reprogrammed so that the bad guys generally, and this may be some kind of subtle thing, but they'll generally be Democrats.
They could do that.
Yeah.
Because that's another way, because
it'll be subtle things. It'll be, just some of the things that they talk about in the simulation, or mannerisms, or maybe they'll just a sign that they have, or a sticker on their car.
It could just be stereotypical things of, like, you don't even have to say what it is, but if someone was to say, hey, meat is murder, man,
right,
we all kind of got an idea of who you're trying to portray here.
Yeah.
And yes,
so they'll be, I guarantee you, that's coming.
And it's to shape the mind of the youth as they come along.
Yes.
Associate this with bad. It's just like, for me, I can remember growing up watching like the Super Friends and things like that. Lex Luthor, he was bald, or like there's a few other bad guys. They were always like these bald guys in suits, and that just became like the symbol for a supervillain. So like when I grew up, I would see somebody that matched that, I'd be like, oh, that guy must be evil. Like, it's the same concept. And I mean, kids are playing video games younger and younger now. I mean, you got 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds walking around here with iPads.
Sure.
So it's going to start early. And I would imagine that billionaire, he's probably got his eye on that. He's probably a bit of a futurist too, and said, you know what, this is my opportunity.
Sure. I mean, this is, and it was clear. I mean, because for me, the first example of that was when Musk bought Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what, $55 billion for a company that makes $150 million a year? You know, it's like, what?
Yes.
But he wanted it, he didn't care about the money. And I feel bad for all the investors that, you know, because he pulled together a bunch of, you know, of the $55 billion, only like $25 billion was his. The rest of it was other people's money.
Mm-hmm.
But, and so, of course, the company, as far as financially, has been doing horribly. But he wanted to be able to, as you said, it suddenly became the Elon Musk, Donald Trump, you know, channel. And especially Elon Musk, 100%. So this and again, people don't like the analogies, but it's true. Like back in the 1930s, in Germany, the Hitler Youth, they had the Nazi Party had all kinds of youth programs. Youth programs. They were very, very wildly intentionally programming the youth. Because when you get people young, you can, you know, mold them.
Normalize
you can, yes, you can teach them things, and because they don't have the experiences, whatever you teach them becomes the normal. And as you've said in the past, some of it has gone on for centuries. Like, you know, like if you grew up in a family where your parents were Democrats, you have a tendency to assimilate a lot of that kind of thinking, and you become a Democrat when you're older, or vice versa. You know, if you're a Republican, same thing. But you know, it's only because of the people you were exposed to. It has nothing to do with reality.
Exactly.
Only your little bubble of reality that you grew up in. And then that's why a lot of people, you know, when they get older, some of them just stay with it because they never rethink it, never challenge it.
Never question it.
Never question it. And then others are like, well, wait a second. You know, now I'm out in the real world and I'm seeing different opposing views. You know, maybe I should at least think about this. But yeah, so pulling all this back to the citizen statesmanship kind of thing, the worst people, the NARSOLES, narcissistic, sociopathic a-holes, they use the internet on a regular basis very effectively in all of these ways. You know, they use the internet to isolate people, they use to distract people, to train them, you know, to inject all kinds of, you know, misinformation, disinformation, fear, mistrust.
A lot of that.
There's a ton of effort in instilling mistrust in the general public. And the amazing thing is, folks, whether you're watching or listening, they focus on making us try to mistrust us. There's a ton of that. And for example, again, the stuff at the border, immigrants. Okay, immigrants are targeted. They're not the Jews like in Nazi Germany. They're the immigrants. And the immigrants are targeted. And then the speeches are like, well, these people are nothing but murderers and rapists and gang members and drug dealers. No. No, the vast majority of immigrants approaching the border, of course, yes, there's a tiny percentage, because the world population has a tiny percentage of NARSOLES. So there's petty NARSOLES that are murderers and rapists and drug dealers and stuff like that. And a tiny percentage of them approaching the border because that's humans. That's the way it is. But it's a tiny percentage. It's a tiny percentage. The vast majority of people are people that have suffered at the hands of NARSOLES in these other countries,
Mm-hmm.
and say, well, we're going to be a disciple of escaping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is so bad that we're going to risk everything. We're going to leave our lives behind.
Exactly.
We're going to go to this other place because at least there's a very high probability that I won't be shot for random reasons. I won't be beaten. My whatever small amount of money or belongings I have won't be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
My little girls won't be raped.
Mm-hmm.
On and on and on. And so, you know, so I'm going to make the trek, and I'm going to approach the southern border of the United States. And the vast majority of people that do that, they're hungry, they're thirsty, they're normal, ordinary people, but
Mm-hmm.
because of where they were raised and where they were living, they are in a terrible way.
And that's their, in a lot of ways, for a lot of them, that's their only crime, is where they were born. And that is a shame, because everybody deserves a life free of hate, fear, and injustice. Doesn't matter what country you are in, that is what we deserve.
Indeed. So so the internet, pros and cons, and it has a huge influence, and I love, and we should, you know, embrace and keep the best parts of it, which is, you know, hey, hi, you know, you can be a grandparent and you know, be looking at your phone and see your grandkids, and you can talk to them on a regular basis. I mean, I have family members that do that all the time, and it's great. It's like, yes, you know, okay, the family lives far away,
Mm-hmm.
but you can see them and you can talk to them, and you know, so the grandparents can really have a very positive experience and see the grandkids growing up and
Mm-hmm.
learning new stuff, and you know, all that great stuff. That's fantastic. But the negative stuff, and again, it would all be solved and resolved by the citizen statesman folks. We would say, okay, these negative things, we need to address them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to, you know, regulate them so that we, again, a more prosperous life, free of hate, fear, and injustice.
Exactly.
We can do this, but only we are going to do this. Only we are going to do this. So as we wind up the show, again, we're ambassadors for citizen statesmanship. And that future is us, extraordinary, ordinary people, not the NARSOLES.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be occupying elected offices in our government, and similar to jury duty, then they're going to have a term. They're going to do the best that they can, which will be great, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to go home. And we must secure this fantastic future for ourselves, because if we stay on the current path, it's the wrong end of the fork.
It is.
And we are going to suffer horrifically.
And this is a future where politics are no longer a career, and those who help structure and shape policies will return to the world to live in those policies that they create. So you don't just get to tell people what to do and then, you know, stand back and watch it happen. You're returning back to the world. So if you make the world worse, so to speak, objectively speaking, you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's how the world should operate.
That's how the world should operate, and it will. And the other thing about citizen statesmanship, I mean, I've said this in other shows, I'll say it again. It is, the cat is out of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
It will happen. Citizen statesmanship is a thing. I personally am nothing. Okay, I'm just a guy. But citizen statesmanship, it is a thing. It's like a crown jewel. It's like a great thing. It is a great thing. And one day we'll figure out how to do this and implement it. Mm-hmm. And our lives will get far, far better. The question is, how bad must things get before we finally say, okay, we're going to try something new?
Exactly.
We're going to stop being insane, according to Einstein, and doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, which we've been doing for decades and generations and centuries.
Mm-hmm.
The NARSOLES, we need to put them aside, appreciate that they exist, and cordon them, wall them off from at least leading us.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. And then all these things are going to get better. So if you care anything about your future, your grandkids, the neighbors, your friends, citizen statesmanship is the answer. And you should be talking about it each and every day. All of us need to be disciples of citizen statesmanship.
We do.
Yeah. And again, we appreciate we live in the South. There's a lot of people, wait a second, you said disciples, only Jesus can have disciples. No. You can, disciple just means that you recognize that there's this very important thing, and you're going to make sure that thing happens. You're going to promote and protect it. And that's citizen statesmanship. So we are the members of the greatest community ever. The extraordinary, ordinary people, the EOP, not the GOP, not the Dems.
No.
We are the EOP. And we can and must be disciples for citizen statesmanship. And Ben and I both say emphatically, please join us.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we end the show, we'll just say
bye for now.
Bye for now.